my garage.
What are you doing, Dave?
Your concrete.
Whoa, hey! Did you mark up my concrete?
I cleaned my feet before I got in here.
He didn't clean his feet. I yelled at him already. Look at this. I'll show you. Look.
Man.
Look.
Advanced settings.
Dave. Look. All this dirt, Dave. I told him to wipe his feet. I'm going to have to get a floor mat for right here. It says, Dave, wipe your damn feet.
Look how dirty these cars are in here.
You brought them like this. No, look. I cleaned this one.
Oh, I would never drive that.
The SM95?
Not that one. Only because I don't like the owner.
The owner? Yeah. Well.
I don't know how to invite you on here.
Well, no, hold on. So we're going live. We're doing some turbo stuff. We'll be back for what we're working on this car. We're trying to go live right now, so we'll be back. Dave, what are you doing?
I'm just live. All right, does anyone want Girl Scout?
So we're live on Dave's channel, and we're messing with the car. Why did I pull it? I was going to do something.
You were going to show them where you're mounting turbos.
Well, you're live. Like, I don't know what I was doing. Why did I grab this camera?
I don't know. Grab mine too. Do some videos. Nick, you got no seats, buddy.
I don't know what I was going to do. I'm going to have to delete this clip. Mounting turbo, the 101. Yeah, that's kind of what I got up. I haven't done a twin setup or mounted turbos like this. I kind of saw how some other kits mount theirs, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I whipped this little bracket up. It's 1/8 inch or 3/16 inch. So there's 2 bolt holes that aren't used on this side of the engine. There's one here and one here. Obviously one sticks out farther than the other, so I'm gonna have to make a spacer. And then this plate is just gonna go here, nothing fancy. And then from that plate, there's gonna be a chromoly pipe that comes up and then hits the Maven mount. You can see the Maven mount down here. Yeah, here you go. So there's gonna be a chromoly tube pipe. I always use the wrong word, whatever. I think it's chromoly tubing. Yeah, so a tube's gonna come from that plate and then hit this. And it's not gonna be perfectly straight. I don't have a bender right now, so it's probably gonna be at a little bit of an angle. But to be honest, like, it's not gonna support much weight. It weighs like 30 pounds maybe, and then the kit holds it all as well. There's tons of kits where they don't even mount the turbos, they just use like the hot side to hold up the turbo, especially on twins. That's super popular. I would never recommend that on a single. Like, once you get to like 76mm and bigger, you need to physically mount the turbo. It's just too much weight, and the weight on the hot side will actually crack the welds and break your hot side. Small twins, it's very, very common to not even mount them. Dave's car, when he had, I think even his 88mm or 80, whatever that was, on this side, it was just supported by the kit. Like, both hot sides came up to a big flange, and then the turbo just sat on it. Like, there was not even a mount on it. I think later we ended up mounting it to the frame, which ended up being a hassle because he still had factory motor mounts, so the motor would move, but the turbo was on the frame. And we had flex joints in it, but anyways, long story short, that still caused a lot of problems. So, little turbo mounting 101, that's why we are mounting these turbos to the engine. It doesn't have to be a super sophisticated mount. It's just something that can kind of hold the weight of the turbo, and then everything else will lock it in. It'll be super solid. So, super simple. I'm going to place this turbo. We're putting them at a 45-degree angle and 15 degrees up. So they're going to point right to the center of the car, each one, and then they're going to be tilted 15 degrees up. And then I'll space them accordingly. The first turbo is easy to mount, obviously. I just get it looking good visually. 45-degree angle, 15 degrees up. Left, right doesn't matter as much. As long as I have clearance from the frame rail for the tubing, it's off of the valve cover, so on and so forth. This turbo is the easy one to mount, because then that one I have to match to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one done. I'm also doing this one first because this valve cover sticks out farther than this side. That's just how engines are. One side's farther than the other. So I have less room on this side, so I wanna push this turbo farther back. This is the tighter clearance side. This bracket's gonna be harder to make. This side is a tighter clearance. So let's go. Dave's got all the piping on order. So I'm hoping, you know, this week I get the turbos mounted, piping comes in later this week, and then I'm hoping maybe I'll tack up the hot side this weekend. And that'll probably be the first video, mounting turbos and hot side. And then we'll carry that on with like the cold side and whatnot on the next video. So hang tight, I'm gonna drill some holes and get this plate mounted and then start cutting the pipe and see where we end up. One turbo mounted. Not really. This is kind of the process of mounting turbos. Everyone has their own way of doing it, but you know, some people use, I've used it too, a cherry picker to hold the center, jacks underneath, milk crates, kind of whatever. You use whatever you can to get the appropriate height and, you know, stuff. I got a hockey puck, a rubber hockey puck in there. It's grippy, kind of holds the front up. And then, you know, a jack and a 2x4 going over the frame rail. And I tried different shims. Popsicle sticks are super common. I use popsicle sticks all the time for shimming stuff, because you can easily add and take them away and tape them together so it maintains the same. But this is how, you know, I set the height. I'm using, you know, this protractor guy. I'm trying to set the turbos at a 45-degree angle. So I'm holding this at the center of the car and pointing to the turbo to make sure like the turbo is pointed directly to the center here and is at a 45-degree angle. That way I can match them both so they're nice and symmetrical. Everyone knows I'm a little OCD, so symmetry is like my biggest thing with kits. It's gotta be symmetrical. So I'm just, you know, everything's gonna point and line up really nicely. We're gonna have one charge pipe that just goes straight down. It's gonna be super clean. So I'm getting pretty close to the determined location here. I've started cutting the pipe that's gonna go from the mount down to the plate that's on the engine. And yeah, it's just kind of piecing it together. I haven't totally figured out how I'm going to make the pipe and everything. It's really, I mean, it's such a precision thing. I think I'm gonna get it angled really closely and tack it to the turbo mount and bolt the plate to the thing and then try to tack it while the turbo's supported like this, so I can keep the turbo exactly where I want it, and then tack it, and then I may even like put a little bead on each one so it doesn't move, and then pull it out to weld it. The good thing is, I mean, you can adjust it. Like if I tack it and then, you know, I take all the supports out and I set it there, and, you know, 2 or 3 good tacks should be able to hold, you know, a turbo like this. And if it's a little off, I can come in and grind some of those tacks and tweak it a little bit and re-tack it. I mean, there's some fine tuning there, but yeah, I mean, this kind of where we're at. I'm rambling. I'm going to keep working on the mounting, but this is just going to be so sick. So after a little bit of cutting and grinding later, this is what I got. One of these I flattened up on the top just so it fits the mount better. I'm going to try to do this. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh, there's my popsicle sticks. So you can see I got my plate on the back here. So it goes like that. There you go. So that's where the mount's going to go. Like I said, if I had a bender, you could probably, you know, bend this to like a 45-degree angle. I don't know. It's probably not necessary. You're not going to be able to see it when you're staring at the engine. You know, we're probably going to get it powder coated black. So I just don't really think it matters that much. It's going to be nice, sturdy, clean. So there you have it. So this is a perfect 45-degree angle. You can see the turbo is pointed right at the center of the car right here. And then it's got a 10-degree slope. And yeah, perfectly level this way. So pretty much, I can, you know, I already cleaned this pipe off. I'm about to actually just tack it up. I'm going to tack it on the top, tack it on the bottom, and then take it off and take it to the bench and weld it. And we'll have a mounted turbo here shortly. All right, I'm in the process of tacking it, as you can see. So just I wanted to show kind of exactly what all I'm doing so I can tack it. I have level on the top, making sure I'm level. I got my popsicle sticks, maintaining the gap back there. I got a protractor here, measuring the angle, making sure I stay where I need to be. And actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I actually already tacked it down there. It's a pretty good tack. And then I have a vice grips right there holding the pipe up. So it's just where I want it to be, and I'm about to actually tack it to that plate. Once I tack it to that plate, I'm gonna take it off the engine, take everything out, and I'm gonna put like 4 tacks on the plate to the tube from there, and then I have 2 like little mini welds. They're probably 1/4 to 1/2 inch going to the mount, so it's secure. So I'm gonna put 4 good tacks on that pipe, and I'm actually gonna bolt it to the engine with the turbo and everything, no supports, and see how it is, and then check like distance and everything. I actually had to modify the angle a little bit. This was getting a little too close to the valve cover, so actually I shifted it forward and over just a bit. I'm maintaining like a 2-finger gap right here, and we're gonna put a turbo blanket on it, and it's probably gonna cover the clamp as well. But I'm just trying to leave a good margin of air here because these are plastic. Granted, they withstand a lot of heat, but we're trying to be careful. And then I actually put a pipe across, you know, the top here to make sure the turbo is lower than this. I know the hood comes up some. I just don't want any hood interference issues. So that's where we're at. But you know, this is what it's gonna look like. Just imagine another one on the other side as well, but we're making good progress here. I feel this is way too much time just to mount a single turbo, but I'm taking you through the steps here. So it's a final resting place. No jack stands, nothing underneath it. It's done. You know, it's tacked up and like it's solid, and that's just tacked. It's not even welded yet. But that's the final resting place. You can see the angle. It's about 10 to 12 degrees kickback. It's on a 45-degree angle. And plenty of clearance. You know, we got plenty of clearance here. And like I said, we're gonna have a turbo blanket to cover it. And then yeah, you can't even really see the mount. If you're standing back looking at this, you can't even really see the mount. We're gonna powder coat it anyways. So yeah, I guess it's time to start trying to figure out how I can mount the other one in the exact same spot. So I don't really know what I'm doing here, but this is what I got, and we'll see if the turbos end up symmetrical. I was trying to like position the turbo, the other turbo, because this one's mounted. I was trying to position the other turbo and like build a jig to hold it so it looked symmetrical, and just it wasn't working. I felt like I was wasting a lot of time. So here's what I got. I got some jack stands here, and I built it up and shimmed it so it is touching this mount. This mount, you know, it's done. So this mount is good. So I got it, you know, pushed up. The plate is pushed up so it's flush with this mount. And then I figured out, you know, how much the front is shimmed on the mount, and got this one good. And I'm measuring the angles and distances to like the car and whatnot, because the motor, the heads are offset. I think I said that. So you can't really measure the heads. You won't get good measurements. And the timing cover is so different on each side. Doesn't really work. So I'm using the front of the car as measurement points. Like they have diagrams that like relate the strut towers and a whole bunch of stuff to make sure your front end's square in a car. So I'm using a lot of those points to measure heights and whatnot so I can do this. So I have this piece flat to the car, and I'm using it to get them level, and then I'm going to start shimming this mount where it needs to be perfectly symmetrical to that mount. And then once I have that, I will build the tube. You can see I already got the plate built in there, and it's mounted to the engine. So then I will build the tube and tack it to this mount while it's on this shimmed piece and everything's supposed to be. And I'll take a bunch of measurements, obviously, as I tack it and make sure it matches that one, angles and everything. So that's where I'm going. You know, we'll cut here, and hopefully next scene, boom, 2 turbos perfectly mounted. And like magic, it's done. Boom. So it took a lot longer. A bunch of messed up mounts, and yeah, here we are. Both turbos mounted. I've measured, once they're in here like this now, I've measured angles and flatness and distance and distance and distance, and these things are symmetrical as they come. Sometimes it may not look like it because this turbo is angled a little more, and these compressor covers, you know, change shape as they go over. So, and this one's gonna be more down, this one's gonna be more flat. So sometimes it may not look like it, but I assure you, like I took the compressor covers off and was measuring like the actual blade wheel and then the center housing, because that's, you know, but they're perfect, trust me. And we got the bumper off, put the intercooler on. This is a really long video. I bet this thing's like 15 minutes long, and it was just for mounting 2 turbos. I ain't even started any of the other work. But I think a lot of people wanted it more raw and like what I go through when I'm doing something. And here you go, this is it. It takes a long time to get something right. To be honest, mounting everything is gonna be one of the longer parts. Doing the hot side and cold sides, I mean, that stuff will kind of go pretty quick. The one bottom cold side pipe that merges and come up, that one may take a little bit, but like the 2 little bitty hot side pipes or cold side pipes, those are gonna be easy. Each hot side is just a few bends, those are gonna be easy. So this should wrap up pretty quick, but I'm gonna end it here. Yeah, look at that. I may put one more photo at the end when the bumper's on. Look at that. Oh man, I am beyond happy with how that is looking. That is gonna be sick. Golly. Yeah, very impressed with how it's turned out. I'm gonna get the bumper back on, wrap this up. We're actually, I don't know if this is known yet. I don't even know if I should say it, but we're doing some car swapping. I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. And yes, we will continue on part 2 of this car here very shortly. Stay tuned. We're waiting on parts on that car. Sorry, everyone keeps asking the updates on that car. Parts are so hard to get right now. So we're waiting on parts. Yeah, I promise. We're trying everything we can, just not here yet. So we're getting this one, and then we're swapping some cars around because we got something else that needs immediate attention coming into this bay. Stay tuned. I promise you, I'm gonna be making more videos. It's just so hard to get parts right now. But be sure to like it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.